In today's lesson, we are going to have a look at BODMAS. We know that BODMAS is an acronym, so we need to go through what each of these letters stand for. The B represents brackets. The O represents of. The D represents division. The M represents multiplication. The A stands for addition. And the S stands for subtraction. So we've got our 4 operations: division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. And then we've got of and brackets. So we know that brackets are these things. So if we've got 7 plus 2 in brackets, along with some other things, we need to do 7 plus 2 before we do whatever else. Of is the same as times and multiplication, but if this comes in the form of, you must do it before multiplication. So an example would be 1/8 of 24, and you would do that before you would do your division, multiplication, addition, or subtraction. Division obviously is just dividing. So we could have 8 divided by 2, and you need to do that before you do addition and subtraction. And the reason that you don't necessarily need to do it before multiplication is because division and multiplication actually have equal weighting. So in BODMAS, division and multiplication have equal weighting, as do addition and subtraction. So whichever one comes first. So because maths is like a language, we work from left to right. So if multiplication comes before division, you do the multiplication before you do the division, and vice versa. If addition comes before subtraction, then you would do addition before subtraction in your sum. But if subtraction comes before addition, you would do it the other way around. Okay, so addition and subtraction have equal weighting, as do division and multiplication. We then have a look at multiplication. We know that multiplication is just timesing 2 numbers together, or more than 2 numbers. So if we've got 9 multiplied by 3, we would do that before we would do addition and subtraction. Then we have a look at addition. We've got anything added together. Let's say 10 plus 4, we would do that right at the end. Okay, so it depends whether addition or subtraction comes first. And subtraction is minusing. So we've got 8 minus 3. We would do that right at the end as well. So if you are just left with addition and subtraction, you would just do whichever one comes first. If you are left with only division and multiplication, you would do whichever one comes first, working from left to right. Right, we are going to have a look at this example. If you would like, you can pause this video and attempt it yourself, and you can then start it again and see if you were on the right track. Right, so when we are working with BODMAS, it's probably a good thing to just write BODMAS somewhere on your page, so that you are just reminded of the order of operations. So because we see that B is first, do we have any brackets? No, we don't. So we go on to the next thing. Do we have any ofs? No, there's no of. Do we have division or multiplication? Remember, those have equal weighting, so we need to see, yes, we've got both multiplication and we've got division. Right, so now it's very important that we do this first before we divide, because our multiplication comes before division when we are working from left to right. So I put brackets around the multiplication, more just to remind me that I must do that before I do anything else. So that brings us back to our brackets. We're inserting our own brackets to remind us that this is the most important. We must do that first. So we can rewrite our entire sum and just working out what's in these brackets, our multiplication. So 3 times 10 is going to give us 30. So we rewrite that and then we divide by 5. Okay, so now we move on to our next line. Now we need to see, okay, we've done the multiplication. Now we need to do our division. Okay, there's our division. So we put that in brackets. We say 8 plus 2 and we minus. What's our answer? 30 divided by 5 is 6. Right. So now we can move on to our next line. Let's see, we've done our division now as well. Let's look. We've got addition and subtraction left. Whichever one comes first, that's what you must do, which happens to be addition. So we've got 8 plus 2 is 10 minus 6. And then we get our final answer because we've only got one operation left, and 10 minus 6 is 4. So there's your answer. Okay, in this next example, we have got a number to the power of 2. Okay, so we've got 5 to the power of 2. Let's just put our BODMAS in to remind ourselves. We've got 5 to the power of 2. Now, any number to the power of 2 or any number to the power of anything cannot be separated from that power. So even before brackets, you do your indices and you do your powers. Okay, so we would immediately rewrite that as 25, because 5 to the power of 2 is 5 times 5, which is 25, and we minus 3 times 2. Then we have a look. What have we got? We don't have any brackets, we don't have of, we don't have division, we do have multiplication. So there's our multiplication. So we can write 25 minus 6. And we're only left with one operation after that. So 25 minus 6, you can do that on the side, and that will give you 19. And there's your answer. Right, in this example, we have got 20 minus 8 plus 9 times 2. So let's put our BODMAS up here. And now we are ready to work it out. So do we have brackets? No, we don't. Do we have of? No, we don't. Do we have division? No, we don't. Do we have multiplication? Yes, we do. 9 times 2. So we do that one first. Let's rewrite everything so we don't change our order around. And that's 18. Then we've got done our multiplication. Is there addition and is there subtraction? Because those have equal weighting. We've got both subtraction and addition, but because our subtraction comes first when we work from left to right, that's what we need to do first. So we get 20 minus 8 is 12, and we plus our 18. Because we've only got one operation left, we can just get right down to our answer. 12 plus 18, I would recommend working it out on the side, and that'll give you an answer of 30. Right, so if we write BODMAS up here, just to remind ourselves of the order of operations we need to follow, we are ready to go. So, do we have brackets? Yes, we do. There are brackets. So because we must never change the order of our sum, we must always write it exactly the same. So we start with 8 times, and then we work our bracket out as 2, and we divide that by 2 to the power of 2. Because we know 2 to the power of 2 cannot be separated at all, the 2 and the power cannot be separated, so we can actually just work that out now as well. So 2 to the power of 2 is 4. Right, now we have a look. Do we have of? No, we don't. Do we have division? Yes, we do. And we've got multiplication. So because we're working from left to right, our multiplication comes first. So 8 times 2 is 16, and we divide 16 by 4. Now we've only got one operation left, so we can get our answer straight away. 16 divided by 4 is 4, and there's your answer. Right, in this example, we have got some fractions, and we've got indices as well. So let's first have a look. Do we have brackets? No, we don't. Do we have of? Yes, we do. So the 16 is a bit high up. There we go. So we can put brackets around our 3/4 of 16 to make sure that we work that out first. So 3/4 of 16, what we can do is rewrite it all, and we can say 3/4 of 16 is the same as 3/4 times 16 over 1. You can do it this way. You can say 16 divided by 4 and times by 3. So you can do it that way. But let's do it this way just for argument's sake. And then we can cross cancel. So 4 into itself once, and 4 into 16 4 times. So we've got 4 to the power of 3, and we're plussing. 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 over 1 is just 12. So now we've got 4 to the power of 3, which is, we can even rewrite the whole thing, 4 times 4 times 4, which might help you a bit. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 will give you an answer of 64. And then we're still plussing 12. So just to rewrite it, 64 plus 12. And you can then work that out on the side, 64 plus 12. And that'll give you an answer of 76. And there's your answer.